Good afternoon. I'm Josel Angelica from Kabangka. You are listening to Radyo Kapwa on CKUT 90.3 FM, where all Filipinos are Filipino enough.
Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Bon après-midi, good afternoon. You are listening to Radio Kapwa on CKUT 90.3 FM. I am joined in studio today by Veronica Bertiz, TJ Oliver, and the wonderful Fenny, who is doing our sound today. Shout out to Laura and Justin in the background, who also work on making sure that we sound smooth. And our other co-host, Desiree Ruiz, is taking a little break, so we're wishing our lovely Ate Des a restful day. So I'm really, really excited today. Our interview is going to be with Josel Angelica Gerardo, a community organizer who is Philippine-born, Tkaronto-raised, and is currently a master's student in political science at the University of Toronto. I have a very, very special place in my heart for Josel because we have been working together for a little over a year now on Kabangka and Pinoy's on Parliament things. But also, I just love how this kind of new movement of just promoting and celebrating our culture is very intergenerational. And I just want to say that, like, I learn as much from the youth as they've expressed that they learn from me. And Josel is someone I just really admire and look up to in my own way. My inner child is healed watching Josel move through the world, to be very honest. I think we can go on to talk about so many different things. They were also on Olivia Chow's campaign, so I'd love to touch upon that as well. But I don't want to take up any more space. Josel, please, please, please tell our audience about your wonderful self. Share whatever you want to share, and we'll go from there. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Ate Franz. Hi, everyone. Hi, folks. My name is Josel Angelica Gerardo, and I am a Filipino-Canadian queer immigrant settler. I was born and raised in Calamba, Laguna. I spent most of my time in the Philippines surrounded by my lovely family, my very big Filipino family, and I have many of my fond memories from there. However, it was difficult at the same time because when I was 6 years old, my mom left us to be part of the live-in caregiver program here in Toronto. And for 5 years, we were separated until we were reunited again in February 2011 as we immigrated here. I now live and work in the city of Toronto, the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. It took me a while to get to this point, but I'm a very, very proud Torontonian, having lived and raised in various neighborhoods, from the Don Valley to Scarborough to now the Annex. The city is really a place that I call home.
I know Fenny wants to say something.
Yeah. So yeah, when you were talking about all the Toronto spots, because I'm from Toronto too, and you were talking about the Don Valley, I was like, oh man, I grew up there. You know, my dad works there. I'm Scarborough, same. I grew up there, so it's just amazing to resonate with somebody who, I guess, from the same city. So that's it. As somebody who, I guess, was involved in the Toronto scene as well, I'm familiar with a lot of the organizations there. Tell us about like the kind of work you do as far as like, you know, like with any organizations, just anything like that.
So my journey of being involved in organizations really started in my undergrad. So I went to Toronto Metropolitan University, formerly known as Ryerson University. Now it's TMU. And from there, I was really heavily involved in student politics, student government, student leadership. So at TMU, I was part of this student union for the Faculty of Arts called Society of the Arts, Social Sciences, and Humanities. And I started there as a vice president of events and then eventually got elected as president during the year of 2020 to 2021. It was the height of the pandemic when I heavily got involved in student politics. So it was very interesting for me, but the work did not stop because we still wanted to ensure that we're supporting students. And that's when I really felt the need or felt the confidence to take up spaces. So I was always surrounded by predominantly a lot of white people and non-Filipinos at university. And so I felt the need to be like, not necessarily to be the representative, but like have a voice from a different community so they can actually expand and have that diversity that they've always been trying to champion. And so I got involved in research projects that are within equity, diversity, and inclusion when it comes to, and then women in politics, and then also talking about young workers' rights at the workplace. And so I was just, then this is where my title, self-proclaimed title of being Jack of all trades came about, because I just tried to be a part of so many things. And then suddenly someone from TMU came up to me and was like, have you heard of Pinoys in Parliament? And I was like, no, not really. And the reason for my hesitation in trying to be involved was because I actually distanced myself from the Filipino community for a really long time. When I came here in grade 6, I got bullied because I was new. I was coming into a predominantly white elementary school. People were not nice to new immigrants and to newcomers. And so they bullied me of my accent because I was fresh off the boat, a fob. I was not aware of the English slang that they have here. And so I tried so hard to adapt to this Canadian accent to get rid of like anything about me, the fact that I was born in the Philippines. And so throughout high school, throughout undergrad, I was trying to hide the fact that I was actually born in the Philippines and trying to be like, I'm Canadian dash Filipino. So I was trying to be Canadian first and Filipino after. And so there's lots of hesitancy for me to be involved in anything related to my Filipino identity. But then I tried to really push myself and try to unlearn that part of myself. And so I got involved in Pinoys in Parliament in 2021 as part of the workshops committee. And then I was like, I saw that Kabanka was doing elections for the next year. And I was like, leadership and learning sounds like something I would like to be a part of. And so I ran for that position. Surprisingly, I got it. No idea how. And then now I'm still in Kabanka now as the director of communications. And so I don't know how that came about, but eventually I'm now here and I'm very proud to be Filipino.
It's Kapwa guidance, okay? That's spirit, that's ancestors guidance. I don't know. I just keep on smiling this whole time because it feels like I didn't need to say my introduction because your introduction is kind of like my introduction. The one that really made me go, is you know, I finished political science as well, and it's a very white-dominated space. I wanted to join in for the the student organization for political science students in Concordia, which is, I feel like, is the equivalent of the Toronto Metropolitan University. And I walk in there, and I noped it out. Like, I saw the table, it was a bunch of white men. And then I noped it out. And then another like person raciste, a racialized woman was walking towards, and I'm like, you nope it out. And then we started being friends because it was just not it for me. I noped it out first. And then the second one was the same thing. Someone asked me like, oh, Veronica, you're Filipino. And I'm like, I have been like proud to be Filipino. I never really, I had a phase where I also did not put Tagalog as my first language. And I tried to erase all of the traces of me being Filipino. But you really cannot change that. Like the way we look, I cannot change that. I can change my accent and code switch, but I do not want to do that anymore. And then one thing that I wanted to point out was someone also asked me, do you know POP? And I was still in school back then. And I'm like, no, I don't want to know. I don't care. Because I have distanced myself, again, just like you, within the Filipino community for reasons that I assume is the same as my reason. But what I wanted to ask you is people that ask me as well, political science, why?
Good question. So I wanted to be a lawyer. I was going through high school and I was going through different phases of what do I want to do in my career. I was not good in math. I was not good in science. And I was like, what is a career that does not have any of those? And so I was like, I guess being a lawyer. And I was very passionate about doing a change, something different in the world that will create a positive social change. And I thought law was the pathway. But then halfway through undergrad, I was like, I actually don't want to do law. And I actually like the thought of being in politics. And I know that there are not a lot of us in politics, not a lot of women, not a lot of Filipinos. And so I was like, maybe this is one way that I can contribute meaningfully to our communities, but also to the country. And so I chose political science. And there's just something spicy about political science. There's just a lot of drama in it, but it's like it tackles someone's life. And I just want to make sure that I want to be able to help out someone directly and less cost. And so I was like, political science it is.
Well, I'm glad that you found that like light, because I was finishing my undergrad and I'm like, do I really want to be a lawyer? Like, I don't want to go back 5 more years for school. And here I need to learn it in French as well, because I need to know the civil law, right? But I'm like, I still do envision myself working in a firm and like helping people, clients about their legal stuff. And I'm very passionate about immigration. So I'm actually I went back to school to go and become a paralegal, and I work in a law firm and handling diverse immigration cases. So I'm glad that you found your way to politics, but I kind of found my way in a politics, so to speak. I mean, I was part of France's team as well, and I know that I'm talking a lot, but I'm like so kilig right now. Follow-up question is that how was your experience being the team of Olivia Chow, who is now Toronto Mayor? Congrats!
Oh my God, thank you. I think it was the most surreal experience I've ever had. So the last 2 weeks of the election, that's when I came on. And the last 2 weeks of an election campaign is one of the most crucial points, because of the last 2 weeks, just right after the advance vote happened, and then making sure that everyone knows that there is an election that's happening. Toronto has gone through so many elections in the past few years, and people are exhausted. We want to make sure that democracy is still something that we can engage with and that we to be proud of, because we live in a democratic society. And of course, trying to help an amazing champion for progressive politics, which is Olivia Chow. First, she is an immigrant, a woman, an Asian woman. It is amazing to be able to make sure that I'm able to support her directly. So I was part of the field team, and some people might know, but part of the campaign field team means like doing the dirty work. You're the one doing the door knocking, the calling, the trying to get volunteers, doing election day. And so we're out there from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on the field, just trying to make sure that people know about Olivia Chow, the elections. Yeah. And it is something that was so amazing. And I'm very, very thankful and grateful that I was able to be a part of this amazing campaign. Every time I call my mom and I was like, Mom, I'm going to be a part of the Olivia Chow campaign. My mom's a big fan. And so she was like, she was so proud of me. She was bragging about me at work. She's always proud of what I do. And now she's seeing more of my work in politics. And it was amazing. And it's something that I can treasure with myself for the rest of my life. And I've learned a lot as a young person being on such a successful and engaging and energizing campaign. This is something that I learned a lot from, and I'm very excited to take with me in the future.
I just wanted to also jump in to also, this is something that we ask all of our guests here at the show. One of our questions actually. So in what ways have you been told you aren't Filipino enough?
Yeah. I have the benefit of being born and raised in the Philippines. So I was like, yes, definitely. I'm Filipino enough. I had a Filipino passport. On my birth certificate, it says that I was born in the Philippines. But then when I distanced myself from the Filipino community here in Canada, that's when I started to feel like I was not Filipino enough. And I think I did that to myself. I did not want to be Filipino enough, because I was like, what are the benefits of me being Filipino in a predominantly white space? Most of the space that I get to be a part of, especially in my professional work, I tend to be the only one who's Filipino there. And so what is the point of me trying to be Filipino if I can just be Canadian? But then that was me doing to myself. No one has ever told me that I was not Filipino enough. But after that, after me realizing and trying to unlearn myself, especially during the pandemic, I was like, I do want to be Filipino enough. I do want to be a part of these lovely spaces that just get to have this sense of kapwa and sense of community with each other. it's funny even now because I've distanced myself and separated myself from the community for so long that when I was at Pinoy's in Parliament last year, or when I'm still in Kabangka, sometimes like I'm still questioning, am I Filipino enough to be in these spaces? So that question, that nagging feeling at the back of my head, it's not over yet. I'm still continuing on this journey of trying to unlearn that part of myself, but also trying to learn the fact that I am Filipino enough.
That's amazing and beautiful. I just want to squeeze in for 2 seconds. And for our listeners who are not familiar with Kabangka and POP, can you just give the little elevator pitch before we go
Yes.
into our kind of last question? Yeah, thanks so much. Because I'm trying to get more of the folks who are involved with Kabangka and POP to come interview because everyone does such amazing things, but like so different also. But I think you're the first one we were able to schedule. So yeah, give the elevator pitch of Kabangka POP.
Yes, of course, my honor. So the Kabangka is what I like to say is a baby not-for-profit organization that is Filipinx Canadian youth led. And this has stemmed from Pinoy's in Parliament, which is an annual Filipinx Canadian conference that happens in Ottawa every year. We try to bring in lots of Filipinx Canadian from across the country, whether you're from the Atlantic provinces or from the West Coast. We try to make sure that there is a space for you at our conference, at our organization, just for us to be able to connect with each other as Filipinx Canadian youth, learn from each other, from our experiences here in the diaspora, and of course, try to help each other as we make ourselves known here in our country on the Turtle Island. And so if you are a Filipinx Canadian youth and you're trying to get involved in some sort of way, try to join us at Kabangka Canada and as well as Pinoy's on Parliament. Actually, this year we have expanded our age. So it's no longer, it's from when you're 17 to 30 years old. So our criteria of youth is very diverse and very inclusive because we have realized that youth is not just for someone who's a teenager or who's in their early 20s. It's actually anyone and everyone. And we're working on a lot of new things. And so we have a mentorship program now. We have a leadership and learning program. And this is a plug that we have, but we have an event in Winnipeg called Tugtugan at Cultivation Festival on August 26th. This is one of our first Kabangka fundraisers. So come join us in Winnipeg. There is a very big Filipino community there. Lots of us will be flying into Winnipeg. And so I hope that all of you can join us as well.
Oh, thank you, Josel. One question I want to ask is, I bring this up too because as somebody who consciously distanced themselves from the Filipino, I guess, identity back in the day, and like now that you're like you spent the past years back in those spaces, back in that mindset, I'd love to hear your perspective on what does the word kapwa mean to you?
Oh, I love this question. For me, when I heard of the word kapwa, this is funny because I know Tagalog. Like I was born in the Philippines, but I was like kapwa. That is kind of like a new term for me. But then every time I think of kapwa, I think of the many moments I've had living here, which is like when someone asks, "Are you Filipino?" So in my first year of undergrad, the very first friend that I made in undergrad she asked me right outside of our philosophy class, she came up to me, she was like, "Are you Filipino?" And I was like, "Yes." And then at work recently, one of the custodial staff, I was just in the kitchen and then they come up to me and they were like, "Are you Filipino?" And I was like, "Yes, well, I am." And then we went into talking about like where I'm from and where he's from in the Philippines. And then very recently, a few days ago, I was at a rally and I saw another Filipina and I was the one who asked them first. And I was like, "Are you Filipino po?" And then they were like, "Yes, I am Filipino." And then she asked me the same thing. And then we started to talk in Tagalog. And there's just this sense of deep connection and actually a sense of comfort and safety when someone asks me that question and then we get to talking, because for me I feel like we have suddenly connected in another level that not a lot of people can actually understand. It's something that I think is very unique to our culture, and I'm very grateful to have this as part of our culture as we especially live here in the diaspora. I think when that question is brought upon us, it's like we know the struggles that we bring as Filipinos as we actually come here in this country, whether that's willingly or unwillingly, for ourselves, for our families. But that sense of comfort and that sense of safety and connection is something that I will truly value every time I go anywhere. And so Kapwa is something very special to us, but to our entire community and our culture.
Beautiful.
Love it. I love that answer.
I don't know. I'm so kilig right now. I mean, like, I did the mental. I'm not good at math, as you can see. Exactly the same reason. You were 5 years old. No, you were 6 years old when your mom left. Fun fact: the live-in caregiver. I'm supposed to be closing, but I wanted to add some facts in it. But like I did my research before as well when I was asked to write for YWCA, and I wanted to add the domestic workers, gender-based violence of domestic workers and what they experience, because fundamentally the experience that the violence that caregivers experience is domestic, because they're there to provide feminine and female service, right? And over 95, or if let's say just 20%, like 90% of applicants for live-in caregiver is from the Philippines. So that's just paints a lot of our immigration experience here in Canada, and I would say even North America. So I just wanted to point that out. And I did the math that you said that your mom left when you were 6 and 5 years after you're here as well. And I'm just like, that's 11 years old. That was the same age as me when I came in here. And so I feel like the experience just aligned like that. So I don't know, like hugs. But for those who still listening to us on CKUT 90.3 FM Radyo Kapwa, I felt very seen and affirmed, heard, and the experience of Josel Angelica Gerardo. And I hope that for the youth who's still listening, I hope that this, the spirit of you be like, maybe this is the time. This is it. Like, this is the calling now. You have so many choices. You can we can be involved with Kabangka. You can also join us for POP. For those who are in Montreal, like, you can also join us at Sant Kapwa. We do our walks. And yeah, this is just a good way to like kind of like finish it and off. And like, I just feel so great just listening to you and seeing all of this inspiration and aspiration and all of the works that we have been doing. Like, you are part of the team that elected the first ever Asian immigrant mayor in one of the biggest city in Canada. So I just like, that's the pitch to tell our conservative like parents. Like, I'm just like, yeah, I was part of it. Like, I was one of those people who were able to make this happen, right? So let's celebrate us, right? How do I finish this? Like, someone help me finish this, because I don't want this conversation to end.
I wish, honestly, all our guests that we have on this show, I think we could talk to them all day. There's so many of them that we always say, come back, come back. But honestly, you can also catch us on the ground, right? You will see Josel and me and Veronica in Ottawa if you're looking for us in February. We're there. We'll always be there. We're lifers. So while we appreciate all the listeners, come and meet us in person. Come to the activities, get involved in community. And to be honest, it's also really healing. It's been really healing for everyone. So maraming salamat. Merci beaucoup d'avoir été à l'écoute de Radio Kapwa sur les ondes de CKUT 90.3. Bon après-midi, good afternoon.
I've been changing, but the burning stays the same. What can I do to tame the heat of this fire? Forever saving the remnants of a love, like ancient stories told from another time, eternally painted on my mind. Color it gray until I forget you, like I never met you. My dearest Clarence, I throw it away, but close enough to you. 'Cause although I hate you, I will still fall in love, my Clementine, every time. And if you're fading, then honey, I'll be fading too. Darling, I don't even know who I am without you. Forever waiting, time's never wasted, and still I find myself growing old over you. You came in a dream, you touched the depths of my mind. Oh no, 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 color it gray until I forget you, like I never met you. My dearest Clementine, throw it away, but close enough to you. 'Cause although I hate you, I will still fall in love, my Clementine, every time, always. No matter how hard I try, my Clementine, every time. Ooh, color it gray until I forget you, like I never met you. My dearest Clementine. Color it gray until I forget you, like I never met you. My dearest Clementine, but close enough to you. 'Cause although I hate you, I will still fall in love, Clementine, every time, always. No matter how hard I try, my Clementine, every time. You're always on my mind.
Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Marvin Reyes. I am a youth leader and a community organizer here bringing you important news back home in the Philippines. The article is from BBC News with the title, Pura Luca Vega, Philippine Drag Queen Faces Backlash for Jesus Act. Christian groups in the Philippines have brought criminal complaints against a drag queen who dressed as Jesus Christ and performed a rock rendition of the Lord's Prayer. The complaints lodged with the prosecutors accused the performer, 33-year-old Pura Luca Vega, of desecrating their religious faith and patron. A video of a bearded Luca performing the verse in Filipino went viral last month, causing an uproar. Luca defended their performance as art. They have performed as Jesus Christ before, but their latest performance drew attention after Luca shared a video of it on X, formerly known as Twitter. It angered the deeply religious country, where some church leaders and lawmakers have called the performance blasphemous. At the end of July, the Philippines for Jesus movement, comprising Protestant church leaders, registered the first criminal complaint with the Manila Prosecutor's Office. They accused Luca of violating Article 201 of the country's penal code, which penalizes obscene publications and exhibitions and indecent shows. A second complaint was filed this week. A Catholic group, Nazarene Brotherhood, protesters are yet to say if they will launch a case. Philippines, a former Spanish colony, is predominantly Roman Catholic. Nearly 80% of the country identifies such as, according to the most recent poll in February. Days after the video went viral, many cities, including the capital Manila, made Luca persona non grata a symbolic move declaring them to no longer welcome in the city. While it does not actually prevent Luca from entering these cities, it has caused them work, with some clubs canceling scheduled shows. Drag queens like Luca mostly earn a living by performing in clubs. For decades, drag queens in the country have performed mostly as comedians, impersonating singers and actresses, and delivering punchlines in stand-up shows, often the audience expense. Luca is a part of the new generation of drag queens who position themselves as artists using their performances to test the limits of free speech. But Father Jerome Ceciliano, spokesman of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, told the BBC that an expression of faith should contain reverence. And Emperor Lucas Vieira said it was art, what they did was a mockery of our faith. He said, we're calling the act itself offensive, whether it's done by a man, woman, or a member of the LGBTQ community. In a response to the backlash, Luca apologized to those who were offended by the Jesus Act but defended their right to express their faith. What people don't understand is that Luca grew up with a religious background and still practices their faith in their own way, said Dulcinea Zulueta, who works with Luca. Luca did not wish to speak to the BBC. Ms. Zulueta says that they have both received death threats. I got called in accomplice to a crime just because I supported Luca, and we got messages from pastors telling us we're going to hell. In the past, other Philippine artists have been criticized for performances of art that some saw offensive to the Christian faith. In 2011, visual artist Medeo Cruz drew outrage from the Catholic Church for an installation that included crucifixes and phallic symbols. The article was written by Derek Kai and Joel Ginto and published on August 18, 2023. Thank you so much for listening. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig. Once again, this is John Marvin Reyes, delivering you Philippine news from abroad.
And there's so much left to say. I guess I'm just the bigger guy. And there's too much on my mind that I don't even want to try. Guess it's not far from the ordinary. They do say love is blind, but I guess that's the way things go. Can't remember how to say your name, let alone count all the freckles on your face. A distant memory I used to know. Oh, I guess that's just the way things go. Oh, I guess that's just the way things go. Can't remember when you said you called, miles away and it was still my fault. The love you said you had is sometimes shown. Oh, I guess that's just the way things go. Oh, I guess that's just the way things go. There's so much left to say. I guess I'm just a bigger guy. And there's too much on my mind that I don't even want to try. Guess it's not far from the ordinary. They do say love is blind, but I guess that's the way things go. Didn't think you'd ever stoop so low, getting with the only girl you know. A lousy route that only makes me sad. That's pretty lame, and that's the way things go. Oh, I guess that's just the way things go. Past your house when I was on a train. In my mind you'll always stay the same. I'm happy now, I ought to let you know, but I guess that's just the way things go. Oh, I guess that's just the way things go. And I don't mind that that's the way things go. And I don't mind, 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 I don't mind. Oh, I guess that's just the way things go. Oh, I guess that's the way things go.
Dito lang ako sa iyong tabi, abutin man tayo ng hating gabi, sasamahan ka. Saan man magpunta, di mapigilan ng puso na ika'y ibigin ko. Sa tuwing papalapit ka na, ako'y natutulala. Kinakabahan, uta-uta, nakatayo lang, di makasalita. Nanginginig ang tuhod ko habang nakatingin sa'yo. Ang aking tiyan ay puno ng paro-paro, kinikilig natutuwa sa mga sulit mo. Teka, bakit ba ganito? Ano bang trip mo, Cupido? Ako'y nabihang mo na. Ibang klase ang iyong ganda, para bang isang mahika. Tanggal ang angas ko, sinta. Sa tuwing kausap ka, parang ako'y nakalutang sa ulap. At pag ikaw ay wala, lagi kitang hinahanap-hanap. Gusto ko lang lagi kang nasa tabi ko, kahit na gaano pa tayo kalayo. Kung maghihintay sa'yo hanggang ako'y yakapin mo ko, ako'y nabiyang mo na. Ibang klase ang iyong ganda, para bang isang mahika. Tanggal ang angas ko, sinta. Ako'y nabihang mo na. Ibang klase ang iyong ganda, para bang isang mahika. Tanggal ang angas ko, sinta. Teka muna, sandali na. Huwag ka muna masyadong magmadali. Sulitin muna natin bawat sandali, malayo pa ang gabi. Teka muna, sandali. Huwag ka muna masyadong magmadali. Sulitin muna natin bawat sandali, malayo pa ang gabi. Kaya dito lang ako sa iyong tabi, abutin man tayo ng hating gabi, sasamahan ka. Saan man mapunta, ang iyong kung kaya ka. Tumatakbo ang oras, ako ba'y makikiusap?
You're tuned in to Radyo Kapwa on CKUT 90.3 FM. And this is Laura from Hiraya Productions, here to let you know that you may find all the songs we played on this episode and other episodes listed on our page on CKUT's website. Today, we played you songs by artists Ame, Kristen, Jed Baruelo, Berto, Grant Perez, and Bea Badubi. And I hope you've got your calendars open and you're ready, because I'm about to announce this week's community announcements and events. First, we wanted to announce that Centre Kapwa's website was launched a couple weeks ago, and to remind y'all that if you have not signed up to our membership, you might not have access to sign up for any of our upcoming events. So please visit our website at www.centrekapwa.org to sign up and receive the details. Next up for the first event on our list today, happening all the way in Winnipeg, is Cultivation Festival, a nonprofit organization that promotes food, art, music, dance, and education in the Filipino community from August 21st until August 27th. There are 34 activations across Winnipeg and in the surrounding area showcasing our diverse Philippine community. A diverse line of Philippine youth and community programming in food, art, music, dance, and education. Some members of Centre Kapwa will be present to attend and support and even participate. So we hope to see you there. In response to a very corporate Montreal Pride that took place 2 weeks ago, Perversité, a radical anti-corporate queer trans fest in Montreal, has graciously organized an amazing lineup of queer activities which started since August 18th and is going on until August 27th. That's in Montreal, so please find the details on our Instagram stories. Today, August 23rd, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., the CCLGBTQ+ has a volunteering opportunity for you. Come help them package condoms so that they can distribute them to their members. The program features a relaxed atmosphere, music, and drinks located at 2075 Rue Plessis, number 130. If you're interested, visit their Instagram page at CCLGBT+, spelled as CCLGBTPLUS. Once you've finished your volunteer work, head on over to Notre-Dame-des-Quilles for the Poly Mic, a queer open mic where many artistic expressions are welcome. Comedy, music, poetry, drag in collaboration with Perversité 2023. It is a pay-what-you-can/free event and will be hosted by Raquel Maestre. For more information, visit their Instagram at Perversité. Tomorrow, August 24th, Centre Kapwa's Ka Collective is hosting their monthly Filipina, Filipinx, Filipino Artist Tambayan Meetup, Kaartehan, at Second Cup located at 4795 Avenue Van Horn from 6 p.m. For more information, check out some of the members of Ka Collective's Instagram pages at Fried Chicken Vixen, at Andy Weiss, and at Centre Kapwa. Up next on Friday, August 25th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m., For the Hood in collaboration with Chalet Kent, there is a drop-in center for the youth ages 11 to 18 years old as a safe space located at Côte-des-Neiges, Uptown. They will be hosting their annual event for the youth, which includes free haircuts, braids, and school supplies, perfect for the start of the school year. It will take place at Park Martin Luther King. And for more information, you can visit their Instagram page at For the Hood, spelled as FOURTHEHOOD, and Chalet Kent, spelled as CHALETKENT. Up next, Saturday, August 26th, Centre Communautaire LGBTQ+, is hosting a thrifting in their center located at 2075 Rue Plessis, number 130, from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. Here, you'll find cute finds, things you need, and things you didn't even know you needed, donated by people who want to see you thrive. There are no costs, just bring yourself and your own reusable bags. Take what you want and make sure to wash it before wearing it. For more information, visit their Instagram page at CCLGBTQ+. Happening on the same day as well, Filipinos of Montreal is back with their Sari Sari Market on Saturday, August 26th. The event is hosted at Jardin de la Pépinière, situated at 3081 Ontario Street East, from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. There is an entire lineup of people and food from the community performing and serving. And on top of that, there is merch. So for more information, visit their Instagram page at Filipinos of Montreal. Still on Saturday 26th, Centre Green is excited to present ACT, a Community Compassion Day, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. with a variety of activities from musical performances to community roundtable discussions. For more information, visit their Instagram page at Centre Green. And last but not least, this weekend, August 26th to 27th, the Refugee Center is hosting their annual art festival, We Are More, a 2-day event of captivating artwork, unique products, and hands-on workshops. This is more than just an art festival. It is a celebration of humanity and creativity. Be a part of something extraordinary. It'll take place at 1610 St. Catherine Street West from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. That was it for me today. I wish you an amazing rest of your Wednesday afternoon, and we will catch you back in a week. Mabuhay mga kapwa!
Liberation for one is liberation for us all. Tuloy ang laban.